Episode 300 of the Grip Strip Podcast, the Happy Birthday Phil edition of the Grip Strip Podcast. My name is Phil Matthew. I'm a man. I'm 41. I'll tell you how much of a man I am here shortly. My bones and my body is telling me that I am 41. As always, I'm with my co-host, the iRacing Indy 500 champion, computer genius, gentleman and a scholar, and owner of a brand new Acura. His name is Josh Vine. What's going on, Josh? Welcome to the show.
Wow, going game show host right there. But yeah, I'm doing great. I mean, obviously, yeah, first of all, happy birthday to you. I mean, hey, at least 41 still kicking, so can't be more thankful to still be hanging out and doing this and enjoying life and everything. So happy birthday to you, man. 41, like I said earlier, it's the opposite of Tony Stewart, AJ 14, and I guess Kurt Busch and anybody else who drove the 41 in motorsports. So yeah, happy birthday to you, man. And I know it's snowing up there and everything, but seems like otherwise around that you've been able to enjoy it a little bit. So glad to hear it and everything. But yeah, for me, obviously, yeah, I made a bit of an upgrade over the weekend and everything with my new Acura Integra and everything. So I'm really glad about that as well. Couldn't go to the Rolex because of that, but I think this is a okay reason to not go to the race. But there'll be more Rolexes to go to the future. There'll be more races to go to in the future, and obviously be able to do that with the really reliable car to be able to do that and so we'll see what races we go to this year and what I'm able to do there. But yeah, otherwise getting closer to, now that the Rolex and Chili Bowl have all happened now, we're getting another week closer to NASCAR and everything else coming back.
Yeah, we have NASCAR coming back this coming week. We have a Super Bowl matchup, a rematch from years ago. So we'll have that in a couple of weeks, and the Daytona 500. So we're literally only 3 weeks away from the Daytona 500. So yeah, I mean, we'll do a couple of birthday related things here. We'll talk about, of course, the Rolex 24 at Daytona was a good race, and saw certain history made in some of the classes, specifically overall, but also in terms of the weather. There was snow here in New Jersey, but there was fog and issues with the fog that affected the race itself there this past weekend. We'll talk about all the winners there. Saw some good highlights. I didn't get to look at the MX5 highlights, but I saw from the Michelin Pilot Challenge as well. It was a good race there. We'll talk about the NASCAR news, including NASCAR Hall of Fame inductions, where the three greats in Kurt Busch, with Ronnie the limo driver was there with his wife, as Kurt Busch got inducted in the Hall of Fame, along with handsome Harry Gant and Ray Hendrick. Talk about the conference championship that I barely watched, because I really didn't care, and an update on coaching news. Anaheim 2, an AMA Supercross, and then last week we'll have Houston this week. Rally Monte Carlo for the WRC, which had snow, it had ice, you had fog, you had racing in the day, racing in at night, and the youngest winner ever in that race. And then Miami Prix for Formula E, their second race of their season. We will preview and make picks for the Cookout Clash. Josh will let us know all things going on iRacing gaming in the sim segment, and we'll call it a day. So, yeah, I mean, we're doing this on January 26th, my birthday. Just as they call me Encyclopedia Phil at Apex, and so for just the sake of that, but also, out of just sheer interest. And two things I always have been aware of is India Republic Day, when the Constitution was ratified, and this was 1950, so 76 years ago. For India matters, of course, because that's where my family's from. And Australia Day, their national day, is on January 26th. There's the quirky, I'm not even going to bother with that. I'm not even trying to touch that. How many people were born? Oh, that's interesting. What happened on the first? Okay, I have no idea. What food holiday? What happened? Oh, wow, that's interesting. Well, yeah, Kobe. Yeah, Kobe's and his daughter and all the people that was it's the anniversary of that unfortunate incident. The famous person born in January. Okay. Famous birthdays for January 26th. Definitely not me. David Strathairn, the actor. Alan, of course, for me in sports. The great one, Wayne Gretzky. Sarah Rue, Mercedes Monet. Oh, God. Scott Glenn, what is it? Lucinda Williams, Norm, Charlie, Jazzy B. Yeah. These are a lot of people I've never heard of. Paul Johansson, Kirk Franklin, the gospel singer, Chris Hasse of Hoobastank. Okay. Gilles Marini. I thought he's a dancer. The inventor of baseball. Wow. Abner Doubleday. Former American General Douglas MacArthur. Of course, Bob Uecker, just passed away a few months ago. Eddie Van Halen. And then the one that's, I think, other than Paul Newman, the one that, and Vince Carter. Vince Carter and Sergio Perez. Sergio Perez and I share the same birthday. Vince Carter was my favorite basketball player for a while. Basically ended the dunk contest in 2000 in Oakland. And people forget that dunk contest had his cousin Tracy McGrady and Steve Francis. So that was probably the best 3-person dunk contest there was ever. Because there was great two-way battles for many years, like Michael Jordan, Dominique Wilkins, and whatever. But that was the greatest dunk contest ever, and that they haven't been able to live up to that since. The one that I think is the closest and connects everything here with this show is Paul Newman, the late, great Paul Newman, one of the great actors of his time. Great philanthropist, but also a racer, and loved racing, won SCCA national championships, drove in the Trans Am series, drove with former guest of the show, Tom Kendall, and won the Rolex 24 in class, finished second overall in the race in 1995. A few weeks after his 70th birthday. So, yeah, Paul Newman is always the one I go with. Paul Newman, Wayne Gretzky, those are the first two I usually go with there. I think it's a good time. We did this last year, and I think it was pretty good, and I vowed to do it more last year as a champion of my league again, but yeah, we got busy with, all the other events and life, and I'll say one of probably the best gift that I got, other than health and being here and being able to do this and continue to do this, and my mom and everybody matters in my life, is Amy. So hopefully she'll listen to this. I doubt she will, but whatever. I want to give my shout out to her. But she won't be proud of this, even though I'm going to do this as best I possibly can. Since it was part of our chat this afternoon, after Vic had tried to volunteer me to be in the Pro Bowl, because Drake May got pulled for Shedeur Sanders. So I don't know how I'm supposed to feel that I'm being compared to a Cleveland Browns quarterback. The guy got drafted in the 5th round, but I'll take his salary. I know that. I said, if you pay me, I'll go and be a quarterback at the Pro Bowl, but that's beside the point. But I think we connect football, connect racing, connect all these things. So we're going to go and do this here. This is after criticized first string quarterback. Responder article is later, Reed is still the most talented, attitude is reason for a change, losing the confidence of his coaches. Oh man, that looks amazing. This is next year it'll be 20 years. Wow. Oh, that's going to be something. All right. Gonna have to do this every year for my birthday. I think this is going to be something here. So I want to talk about this article right here. If anybody hasn't read this article, I don't read it. This is brought to me by a mother of children. I think it's worth reading. Let me tell you why I want to talk about this article. Proof first of this is inaccurate fiction. And this article embarrasses me to be involved in athletics tremendously. And that article had been written by a person that doesn't have a child and has never had a child that's had their heart broken and come home upset and had to deal with the child when he is upset and kick a person when he's down. Here's all that kid did. He goes to class, he's respectful to the media, he's respectful to the public, and he's a good kid. And he's not a professional athlete. And he doesn't deserve to be kicked when he's down. If you have a child someday, you'll understand how it feels. But you obviously don't have a child. I do. When your child goes down the street, somebody makes fun of him because he dropped a pass in a pickup game, says he's fat, and he comes home crying to his mom, you'd understand. But you don't have that. Someday you will. When your child comes home, you'll understand. If you want to go after an athlete, one of my athletes, you go after one that doesn't do the right things. You don't downgrade him because he does everything right and may not play as well on Saturday. And you let us make that decision. That's why I don't read the newspaper, because it's garbage. And the editor that let it come out is garbage. Attacking an amateur athlete for doing everything right. Then you want to write the articles about guys that don't do things right and downgrade them. The ones that do make plays. Are you kidding me? Where are we at in society today? Come after me. I'm a man. I'm 41. I'm not a kid. Write something about me. Read our coaches. Don't write about a kid does everything right, that's heart's broken, and then say that the coaches say that ain't true. Then to say that we made the decision because Donovan Woods, because he threatened to transfer, that's not true. So get your facts straight. And I hope someday you have a child and somebody downgrades him and belittles him. You have to look him in the eye and say, you know what? It's okay. They're supposed to be mature adults, but they're really not. Who's the kid here? Who's the kid here? Are you kidding me? That's all I got to say. Makes me want to puke. Man, wow. I think I felt like an aneurysm almost starting there. That wasn't as good of a read as last year, I will say that. But I will, getting into that Mike Gundy thing, there's just something fun about that because it's one of the greatest rants ever in the history of college of sports.
Yeah.
And so you're welcome, ladies and gentlemen, people who listen to the podcast. We'll get back to regularly scheduled programming here. And does the Mike Gundy rant again.
I mean, why bother with the rest of the show? This is we can't follow it up any better. No,
we kind of have to. That's the thing. All right, so let's go to the Rolex 24 at Daytona. Not going to try to bury the lead here. Felipe Nasr, along with Julian Andlauer and Lauren Heinrich, won the Rolex 24 by 1.569 seconds over Jack Aiken, Earl Bamba, Frederick Vesti, and NASCAR rookie Cup rookie Connor Zilic, and BMW's Dries Van Doorn, Sheldon Vanderlinde, Robin Freins, Rene Rast. That was the podium for the overall. Top 9 were GTP cars, all on the lead lap. The top 9 were all on the lead lap for GTP. In LMP2, the CrowdStrike by APR team with George Kurtz, Quinn, Sowery, Jacobson won over the Team Inter-Europol cars, the 43 and 343. Those two cars were on the same lap, or the 0443 were on the same lap. They were, and then the 343 was a lap behind that with, amongst 1, 2, 3, 4 cars there. So third and sixth were all on the same lap. AO Racing finished 5th, but they won the Michelin Endurance Cup deal there. In GTD Pro, Neil Verhagen, along with Connor D. Filippi, Max Essie, Dan Harper, win for Paul Miller Racing, New Jersey team there, or originally, or at least they have a basis there, over the 75 Express Mercedes of Kenny Haybull. Mauro Engel was driving at the end there. Will Power and Chaz Mostert. And then the Windward Racing GTD Pro car finished 3rd. Lucas Stoltz, Maxime Martin, Hart, and Noble, beating the Corvette there late. Then in ED, the Windward Racing team that's won the championship 2 years in a row, Philip Ellis, Russell Ward, Donche, and Lucas Sauer. They were in a door-banging battle that almost saw Philip Ellis eat it in the tri-oval, bouncing off the left side of the Magnus Racing Aston. Nicky Team driving there at the end. Spencer Pumpelly, Madison Snow, John Potter. And then the Heart of Racing Aston Martin with Zachary Robichon, Tom Gamble, Trudy, and Dudu Barrichello, Ruben's son. Rubens Barrichello's son there finished 3rd. The 13 Autosport Corvette, I forget what they used to call themselves last year, but they finished 4th. The Valkyrie had issues during the night, or during the early hours, and then had further problems there, finished in 31st, but they did finish the race, so credit to them. The AO Racing 77 had issues as well. The Rexy car with Nick Tandy. So those were your winners. Some of the cars, Risi Competizione Ferrari went out early. Wright Motorsports 120 car went out early. The number 28 GTD car, the Porsche with Jan Halen, Dylan McIvern, went out 5 laps into the race, which is brutal. Then Sheena Monk, Felipe Fraga, Roman Grosjean, Ford went out about 4 hours into the race. And then there was a few cars that went out like later in the race there. The one that I saw was Ricky Taylor, Philippe Albuquerque, Will Stevens, and the 10 Wayne Taylor Racing Cadillac. They caught on fire. I think a gearbox failed. And then the car caught on fire and they had to park. One of the Ford Mustangs, the DXDT Corvette, with Scott McLaughlin, had issues. The Gradient Racing Ford. So Ford struggled. 3 Mustangs fell out of the race there. So that's not great there. Look into that as we move forward. But I mean, for the Rolex itself, yeah, there was a fog delay. There was long cautions in the race. In terms of they had full course yellow. What is it? They said full course yellow laps, but time. But in terms of underlines, qualifying driver, bold starting driver, italic was the fastest lap. Oh, okay, interesting. And then Vest. Yeah, it was Aiken that finished the race there. Yeah, so I mean, in terms of the race itself, the buffering was terrible on Peacock per usual. Terrible app, I gotta say. They probably have good for the TV shows maybe, but for sports broadcasting, they have real issues there. But I guess we have to say Penske consolidating all their stuff. They're not in the World Endurance Championship anymore, at least temporarily. They said that they might be going back sooner rather than later. Say that's probably going to be earliest will be in 27, but consolidate everything. You have the best driver probably in the series, or one of, in Felipe Nasr, and now you've won 3 consecutive Rolex 24s. Used to not be a thing. It's become more of a trend in recent years, whether it was Chip Ganassi, they mentioned it, Chip Ganassi, and then Wayne Taylor's teams winning 3 in a row. Now Porsche Penske has won 3 in a row. And look at, for George Kurtz, who's won the Bob Aiken Award and owns a piece of the Mercedes Formula One team, wanting to go back to Le Mans again. And then, Windward Racing getting another win in, trying to defend their title. And then you have, and then also Paul Miller Racing, credit to them. They've shown great strength in recent years. They won last year, I think, with the 48 car. So now they're consolidated to 1 car this year, and they go out there and get the win. So good day for BMW in general, getting an overall podium and getting a win in GTD Pro. Porsche, of course, winning the race outright, and I think for George Kurtz, and then in GTD, Windward Racing, and proving once again why they're going to be hard to beat going into further races.
Yeah, the Penske and Porsche, they've been fast the last 3 years now, including this year. So, really the only time that they didn't have any problems was the first year that they debuted and they had both of their GTP cars drop out of the race. But both the number 6 and number 7 Porsche were really fast throughout this race. They led 70% of the laps in the entire event, so they were very dominant throughout. But of course, the very end, Felipe Nasr had a battle with Jack Aitken there in the number 31 Cadillac. So it was an interesting battle, but it didn't really look like, even with Aitken kind of looked like he might be able to catch him, but it seemed like once they got out of traffic, 7 was able to pull away there from the win. So yeah, for the 31, like they had an opportunity late, like about 18 minutes left in that race to make something happen. Had a huge run through traffic from the Le Mans chicane to turn 1 of the road course there, coming off the tri-oval, but just wasn't able to get around him there. And Felipe Nasser made a very defensive move. Jack Aitken was basically going onto the apron, right almost onto the grass there, but Felipe Nasser able to defend that move and continue leading the race. And then Jack Aitken wasn't really able to close the gap as much of that. It was basically his best opportunity there. But otherwise it was definitely a wild race, like you said. I mean, the beginning of the race, obviously, multiple wrecks at the beginning, and then the fog ended up being a 6-hour delay there. So, which I guess for us fans, obviously, people watching, kind of a disappointment there. But I guess for the teams, for the drivers, I mean, certainly a little bit less intense. Certainly, just kind of logging laps and everything. So. Kind of similar to Rolex's. I mean, it's only the 4th time I think this has happened, but I was reading another article where I guess like in 1989 they had a issue with the fog in the Rolex, and kind of gave everybody a break there. So in a way, I guess that kind of helped them. But you wonder, with a 6-hour red flag, could they have red flagged the race and everything and to let the fog through? But even then, that makes it harder to justify the race classification, because I think you need like at least 700 laps to classify it as a complete race. So and they only reached that with the towards the very end of the race. So there is that issue, and then also with the drive time for each of the drivers as well. So that was definitely interesting to kind of see how that played out. Yeah, with the weather that we've had, with the fog, I guess that happened in Florida here, and wondering if that's kind of related to the snow up in the north and everything. But I guess it worked out for Penske and Porsche, and they come away with their 3rd win in a row here at the Rolex. So obviously a huge win once again for Penske and all that whole team, which we're last year, I remember seeing them win and then being like, man, those freaking Penske cars always winning. And Penske didn't win as much in NASCAR and IndyCar, but seems like they still have a pretty good program here in IMSA. So just a lot of crazy things. And then of course like the battle in GT or GTD Pro and GTT Daytona, pretty interesting as well. So it was a crazy Rolex 24, I guess, and certainly one of the more unique ones with just that big fog delay that happened overnight.
Kind of I was thinking about it. Reminds me of 2004 when they had long caution.
For the rain.
For the rain and stuff, and that affected the finish famously, where Tony and Junebug and Andy Wallace were running the Crawford prototype and Daytona prototypes back in those days. And if it hadn't run under yellow for as long and they had so much issues with the rain and stuff, that crap would have probably failed a long time before and wouldn't have mattered. But instead, they were able to run, and it failed with 10 minutes to go in the 24 hours while Tony was running on 2 wheels on the banking a couple of weeks before he goes and lets Junior buy for the Daytona 500 too, which made me nauseous. And he was way too happy about that, as though he got paid off for $1 million, which I still believe he did, but whatever. Junebug's got 2 Daytona 500s, whatever, but, Tony never won it. Though he'll tell you that he'd rather win the Chili Bowl than win Daytona. That's bullshit. You say that when you haven't won one. It's like Michael Andretti's gone out of the limelight. You don't go and hear him say, "I would have rather won this race or this championship than won Indy," when he had the race won with 10 laps to go in 1992, with 11 laps to go and his car quit. That's beside the point. But yeah, so we'll see. I mean, of course, now a long break until Sebring. It's almost 2 months till Sebring. 50 days as of now on their timing screens. So we will see how that goes. All right. I'll edit that in a second. So let's go to NASCAR news. Different sponsor announcements: Rebel Bourbon, Zone. Couple other sponsors on there for Kyle Busch. Celsius announcing a deal for them to be on primary for 9 races for AJ Allmendinger in the Cup Series. And then there'll be primary for, I think, 5 races for the truck on Justin Haley. The first 2 races of the season for the truck series, I think, right? Because unless they're going to Atlanta, the second race, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, so 2 of the first 3 races in the truck series there. Cal Ripken Senior Foundation will be on Nacho Libre's car. Chad Fincham will be in the Clash. Kirk Russell, honorary pace car driver for the Daytona 500. Bunch of new people on the 48 car. The induction of Kurt Busch, Harry Gant, Ray Hendrick into the Hall of Fame this past weekend. There's the big one is after however many years on the Roval, they're going to move the fall race back to the oval. I would venture to say that probably because this car races well on 1.5 mile racetracks, and the Coca-Cola 600 has been decent. Last year was a really compelling finish in the Amazon Prime opener, first ever race they had on Amazon Prime, which saw Ross Chastain get the victory over Byron. I think that might have been a play in there too. The notion of having a lot of road courses, having the street course in San Diego, and then also just the way these vehicles race. I think the amount of destruction that they've had at the Roval over the years has probably been a mitigating factor. You have North Wilkesboro, so now you have a short track back on the schedule. You have, now you bring back Charlotte to have a 500 miler in the fall, which is more of I guess a better representation. It's interesting they're making this call this late in the getting this close to the season, because then by taking that Roval, it's interesting because by taking the Roval out of the schedule, they have taken out a road course in the playoff. So that's interesting how that all works. But what are your thoughts, man? Hearing that Charlotte will be back to the 500 miler probably, which will mean after 3 unique racetracks to start the chase, they're going to have 3 consecutive 1.5 mile racetracks right smack dab in the middle before they have 3 more unique racetracks and then Homestead, Miami to finish out season.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for that. I mean, I think the Roval kind of ran its course, especially with how the next gen has played out on road courses, and seeing SVG's dominance on road courses. So yeah, definitely exciting to see that. And I think also, just from what we've seen with the 600, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, how that 500 miler plays out in the daytime for NASCAR. So with the constant, I mean, it's not gonna be. I don't know how hot it will be, but it'll definitely be during the daytime. So that'll be a different dynamic than what we've seen at the Coke 600 with how the track changes there. So a lot of people have been saying to bring it back onto the oval here. So it seems like for NASCAR, despite the late decision making, there definitely seems like a pretty big win. Especially with how a lot of the criticism that they've had, since or during the lawsuit and all that. So, a couple of big announcements that seem like pretty big wins for NASCAR. With the, I guess, better version of the playoff and the chase, and then this announcement here with going back onto the oval. So, from the race standpoint, of course, I think it was always advertised as a 500, because I think they is Bank of America Roval 500, so let's just drop the Roval name off of it. But obviously no road course in the chase now, so one less road course for SVG to win. But then also, I think it'll encourage a lot of good racing and good battles. So I'm excited for it. Definitely think it'll be here to stay now, and everything. So I guess the Roval goes away for now, but I'm sure maybe there'll be other use for it in the future if they decide to do something with that again. But we'll have to see if that'll happen in the future. But excited for the Oval back for sure.
Yeah, and that means only 4 of the 36 races will be on road courses. There'll be more short track races, of course, because of North Wilkesboro coming back. You have 2 races at Bristol, you have 2 races at Martinsville, and then you have 2 races you only have 1 race at Richmond. So there'll be 6 short track races. You'll have 4 road courses, 6 super speedway type races. So that's what, 12, 16, and then you have 20. The rest of them are a combination of oval, different size oval track races there. A good amount of them 1.5 mile ovals. So we'll see how that works out. I guess outside of having no road course, the diversity in the chase, you have tracks that are under 1.5 miles in Darlington, Gateway, Bristol, Phoenix, Martinsville. So that's half the races in that playoff, and then you have 4 cookie cutter or 1.5 mile racetracks, and then you have 1 super speedway. So there you go. We'll see how it all works out, though. See what people's thoughts are accordingly. So return as the primary sponsor for Kyle Busch. And then O'Reilly Auto Parts Series and Truck Series Tessa Rockingham's been moved back. The Gateway race will be the 220 New Way 225 at Gateway. Miss Summer 2.0 is back in the ARCA West Series, driving the 16 car, no less, for Bill McAnally. So wonder what her excuse will be now. Won't be enough swords to swallow. Corey LaJoie will be driving the 75 for Henderson Racing, which has been a very competitive vehicle. Last year they crossed the line first in the race and then got DQ'd later with Parker Kligerman driving. So they're always good on the super speedways. They're generally good wherever they show up. So that'll be a competitive opportunity. Jensen Button says he's interested in running the Truck Series race. I don't know why specifically the truck. I guess because he can't get. No, you just saw him in NASCAR. My local race now. Oh, he lives in. Has anyone got a truck that wants me to drive? If it's got a wheel and a gear stick, I'm there. Oh, so there you go. So he said it during the Rolex 24 broadcast. Interesting. Tony Breidinger, TikTok influencer, Instagram influencer, will be in Iraqi war truck part-time. So there's that. No entry list on the Cup Series page as of now, but figure all the 36 regular teams, and then you're gonna have Chad Fincham, you're gonna have Burt Myers in that race, so there will be 38 total vehicles showing up. The main event will be 23 cars starting based on heat races and the LCQ. Larson's already locked in because he's the defending series champion, or whoever the highest points finisher is that doesn't make it in through all those other things. So yeah, we'll see about that. The sponsor updates, Hall of Fame. Kurt Busch, we talked about him getting in the Hall of Fame after he'd had to retire because of his injuries that he suffered in the crash at Pocono. He was elected their blue collar to blue. First, later, third. Rally to finish. Went on to win 34 Cup Series races. Won 2017 Daytona 500. In 2004 Cup Series championship, of course, over Jimmy Johnson. Kurt and Kyle boast more Cup victories than any other pair of brothers in NASCAR history. He was quoted as saying, "I was just a blue-collar kid from Las Vegas with a dream to be a racer. Thank you, Mom and Dad, for all the support through the years. Work ethic instilled in me and the village of people around me in Las Vegas. You guys were always out there to help me out, both on and off the track." Scored his last Cup victory at Kansas in 2022. And Camry, making him a million driver win at NASCAR's highest level for 4 different manufacturers. He ran Indy, of course, in 2014. That was when he was with Pocket Commando. Finished 6th there and tried to complete the 600 or running for at age 179, sells construction business and commit to NASCAR full time. Oldest driver ever to win a Cup race, age 52. Oldest driver in his first Cup race, he was 42 when he won that in 1982 for Harry Gant. Mr. September, he won 4 races in a row in September of 91. Addition of 21 events in what is now the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. One of 75 race drivers. And then Ray Hendrick won 44.4% of his starts and finished in top 5 in 4 of every 5 races he entered. Conclusion of his career in the late 80s, had more than 700 wins to his credit in modified and late model sportsman divisions, earning the name moniker Mr. Modified. Winner of 20 races at Martinsville. We are not related. Rick Kendrick was flying 11 and Mr. Okay, so That's and then they also acknowledged Humpy Wheeler for the Landmark Award and Deb Williams with the Squire Hall Award for Media. So that interests as a good solid group. I mean, Kurt is the one that we both have the most familiarity with. I have a little bit of familiarity with Harry Gant because I saw him at the back end of his career. Ray Hendrick, I've only really seen like the throwback schemes, heard stories about him. Deb Williams, I've read. I mean, she's a great reporter and media member, and she was around for many, many years. Well deserved of that honor. And then, I mean, I think Humpy Wheeler, if there's a promoter that is connected intrinsically with NASCAR racing, I think it's Humpy Wheeler. All the things he was doing at Charlotte Motor Speedway went and has opened the door for all these other racetracks to kind of go and do what they do. And some of the opportunities he was willing to give. He gave Janet Guthrie an opportunity to drive a NASCAR or try to connect the people so that she could have an opportunity in NASCAR, and some of the other things that he did. He's a legend. So, I mean, Harry Gant, handsome Harry Gant, was an older guy, and it shows the difference in the sport. You have Connor Zilic, who's 19 years old, about to be a rookie in the Cup Series. Harry Gant was 33 when he made his first Cup start. You know, like Dale Jarrett, I think, was 31 or 32. And then he won his championship in the 40s. You know, like Jeff Gordon made his Cup Series debut at 20 years old in 1992, and then was 24 when he won his first Cup Series championship. Like Dale Earnhardt, I think, was 27 or 28 or something when he won his first Cup title in 1980. You know, like it's crazy. I mean, and you think about that rookie class that Dale Earnhardt was a part of. Yeah, Dale Earnhardt, Terry Labonte, and Harry Gant were three of the guys that were in that rookie class. All of them are in the NASCAR Hall of Fame. Jeff Bodine was in that rookie class. Joe Milliken, I forget, they had a picture of it recently. And I was like amazed that you think about how many, do you just talk about that's 9 championships just based with Earnhardt and Labonte. And then you think about how many wins if you add Harry Gant with like late model sportsman, whatever, Busch Series, O'Reilly Series now. And you talk about Jeff Bodine with his modified background and all the wins he had in the modifieds and all the innovations those two guys brought to the table too. Think about 4 prolific drivers that to come in one rookie class. There are other rookie classes I remember over the years that had a lot of big names, but only maybe one of them stood out. Like, I mean, 93 was Jeff Gordon and Bobby Labonte and Kenny Wallace. But, you know, Jeff Gordon and Bobby Labonte had a Hall of Fame career too. So, you know, like that was a great rookie class. But, you know, you think about 79, how the kind of things that came out of that group is pretty big. I'm going to have to save that article over there for when I do that video later. Sponsor updates. Celebrates my birthday. Mike Gundy ran again. And, all right, so let's go to football. All right. The AFC Championship game saw the Patriots win. Controversial call by Sean Payton for go for it there. He said he didn't want to finish P2 with Lewis in the stands. Seems to be a consistent thing. When Lewis shows up, they lose. So maybe Lewis is one of my favorite race car drivers, one of my favorite people in the whole entire world. But he may need to avoid going to Mile High unless he's going to be trying to make it with Romy Bean, which then I'd be like, go for it, brother, because she's hot and she's a former cheerleader. But yeah, the Broncos with Stiddy, in the end, they end up losing 10-7 in the AFC Championship game. So now the Patriots are on their way to the Super Bowl. And then the Seattle goes and holds off the Rams. So Seattle and New England, I think it was Super Bowl, what was it, 49, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was 11 years ago. Rematch of the two franchises. Of course, a lot has changed. Seattle back then, Legion of Boom, Russell Wilson, Beast Mode. You had Pete Carroll as the head coach. In New England, it was, of course, Brady and Belichick. A lot of those big time guys that were around. Gronk and what do you call Edelnut and all them other people. That's going back a while. So totally different deal. You're gonna have two quarterbacks. Drake May in his second year as a starter. You have Sam Darnold, who's on his fifth team in his career, and Seattle, who has one of the best defenses in the NFL. They had to make stops late and were able to do so. And 131-27 in their game. And so that's why, I didn't really get to catch much. I didn't really care to catch much of those games. So I don't know what you were able to see, Josh, or if you have any takes on a rematch of Super Bowl 49 in 49ers Stadium and Levi Stadium.
Yeah. No, I only saw parts of both games. The New England Broncos game. I was driving home from the dealers and everything, and after trading in my old car, so I only saw part of it. And everything. It was low scoring throughout. Defense was good on both sides. 7-7. Like I think at one point it was 7-7, like in the second quarter, and then I guess I went to go do something else for a minute, and then I was kind of not paying attention, and I looked up and it was 7-7. I was like, man, it still feels like the second quarter. And then I look at the game clock and it was like 6:30 left in the third. I'm like, I thought it was still the second quarter, but no. Defense throughout. Jarrett Stidham did a good bit of job as he was able to do, but I think as the weather intensified, it definitely kind of started working against him. I think really both quarterbacks, but I think Drake May had that edge with his legs, being able to run for first downs and being able to run for a touchdown. So that obviously was kind of the game changer there. And then the controversial call with Sean Payton there, and then of course missed field goal by Denver as well. So Denver had an opportunity to tie the game late, but they missed the field goal, and now they're not going to the Super Bowl. New England is. So rematch there, and then of course the Seahawks. We'll see some of that game as well, not all of it, but Seahawks. They got the first touchdown, and then they were able to kind of pull away for a minute. Then LA kind of started scoring again and started coming back, but the Seahawks were able to hold on, play defense throughout that game. Sam Darnold was great in that game and able to go and defeat the Rams there. So it was end up being. I thought especially after the Patriots and the Broncos, or especially after the Broncos, with their situation with Bo Nix, I thought that it was probably going to be the Patriots winning that game. So you're either going to get a rematch of Super Bowl 49 or Super Bowl 53 there with the Rams and the Patriots, which that in itself was a rematch of Super Bowl 36, I think, from 2001. So, yeah, it was going to be either one of those. And then, yeah, it ended up being Super Bowl 49 rematch. And of course, a lot has changed since then. I mean, these are, two completely different teams and everything. So, I mean, there's like not anything from that, but of course similarities there. You got a quarterback in the in the Patriots who looks like he's going to be the franchise quarterback for the Patriots, just like Tom Brady was. You got a coach who's very savvy and Mike Vrabel, and then a good defense. And then for the Seahawks, I mean, like we've been saying, their defense is excellent, and they've done a great job of stopping other teams and creating pressure for opposing quarterbacks. So, yeah, for the Seahawks defense, it's not the Legion of Boom, but maybe it's the Legion of Doom or something. So, definitely for the Seahawks, I mean, I think they opened as -5. I don't know where the lines are right now, but they opened as -5 for this game. So for the Super Bowl, so it probably means that the Patriots will probably be closer, and the Patriots probably cover the spread. But definitely, if I were picking the game, betting money line, I'm not gonna bet on the spread, but betting on the money line straight up, I'd probably just take the Seahawks. So yeah, I definitely think the Seahawks can win the Super Bowl over the Patriots. I think, and even if the Broncos were somehow able to win that AFC Championship, then the Seahawks would win. So really didn't matter, honestly. Just whoever was going to lose or win that game was going to lose to the Seahawks anyway. So we'll see how true that actually comes out to be. But yeah, I didn't really care that much either. Like during the Seahawks and the Rams, like I left to go grocery shopping, and then also to kind of get some more practice in with the stick, so that it wouldn't be like Monday being the first time that I drove the stick after driving it home from the dealer on Saturday night. So drove it around for a bit after that. So and then I came back in the game, in the middle of the third quarter still, so didn't really miss a whole lot. But yeah, Seahawks, they had, Jackson Smith and Jigma, JSN, great receiver. Sam Darnold gets to the Super Bowl before Lamar, before Josh Allen, before Baker, and anybody else. So, crazy deal how that kind of ended up with the way he bounced around the league for several years, and then was with Minnesota. I'm sure Minnesota's now regretting this, considering how their season went this year. So yeah, Sam Darnold, couldn't be happier for him. And I guess, I don't know, maybe if you're a Jets fan, so I'll end my part with this. I did see a tweet earlier. The Jets, somebody said, if Sam Darnold prevents the Patriots from winning a Super Bowl, I'd argue he was worth the number 1 or the number 3 pick in 2018 for the Jets. So I don't know. That's pretty big brain thinking to think that, because I think still the Jets are the Jets still, but in a way, if it prevented the Patriots from winning the Super Bowl, I guess it's a very interesting way to view things there. If you're a Jets fan trying to cope with the fact that you are a Jets fan, maybe we need to send that one to Vic and see what he thinks.
Yeah, he probably. He's trying to. I think he wants Shador's. He was comparing me to Shador Sanders earlier, so I don't know. He's kind of fragile, at least with these quarterbacks, and they're about to have a second kid, so there's also that. But he's gonna have a boy, so that's gonna be something with him having a boy. Knowing that guy for as long as I've known him, but. I love him like a brother, but he's an interesting character. And he's also a Jets fan. I used to be a Jets fan once upon a time, too. But Dirty Sanchez helped me out with that. Who knew that he was going to go and be a murderer or whatever the hell. You're showing the tweet there. Okay. Oh, dang it. Can't come up because it's not connected to my whatever. I don't care. I'll look it up over here. Oh. Yeah, Sam Darnold. Yeah, that's crazy. That is funny. I'd like to not see that, but anytime I've rooted for the New England Patriots, I rooted for them twice against the Giants and they lost. I did root against them, of course, when I went to the game, one game, and they lost, so that was good. And I got to celebrate with a bunch of Philly fans. Trying to think if I've had to root for the Patriots or not root for the Patriots. I don't offhand, but either way, I don't really know. There's not really a winning. For me, there isn't a winning one. I don't know, maybe, but we'll see. With the Niners and whatever, trying to see what they're going to do and looking at how they're going to improve in the draft. That's really what I care about. I don't have any real takeaways. I saw one of the late drives in the NFC Championship game. Stafford and them tried. They stayed with them. It was an even, really tight matchup. Makes sense that they were two of the best teams in the league and this whole year. Shows where the Niners have to get to even compete. So we'll see what happens with that. What is it? So Arizona is interviewing Mike LaFleur. So that's Matt's brother for the head coaching job. Greg Aukerman, new special teams coordinator. Robert Prince, wide receivers coach. Bob Quinn, senior advisor. They kept a few other ones on Stefanski's staff. Scotty Montgomery, the assistant head coach and wide receivers coach, former player for their offensive coordinator for Baltimore since they hired Jesse Minter. Davis Webb interviewing for the Buffalo Bills. Philip Rivers withdrew from the head coaching search. Grant Udinsky withdrawing from the Browns head coaching search, but is still in the Buffalo search. Nate Scheelhaus, pass game coordinator, former quarterback, I forget for what college. Pass game coordinator for the Rams. It sounds like the way that the Browns do things, he would probably be someone that would be pretty good for what they want to do or how they've been doing things. Mike Kafka is joining the Lions staff. So going from being offensive coordinator and interim head coach with the Giants to the Lions. So interesting there. Jaguars. So they've agreed to a new deal. Yeah, so they agreed to a new deal with Udinsky, Grant Udinsky for offensive coordinator, but he's still allowed to pursue the head coaching job with the Bills. Davis Webb also interviewing for the head coaching job for the Raiders. So I would venture to say that he's going to get a gig. Mike McDaniel officially announced and hired. They're interviewing for the defensive coordinator position now, the Chargers, because of Jesse Minter. Joe Casper, defensive pass game coordinator. Frank Smith interviewed for Philly's vacant OC job. Commanders are hiring Vikings DB coach Durante Jones as their new defensive coordinator. So coming from, what do you call, why am I forgetting his name? Staff. Kevin O'Connell's staff, but under, what's his name? Who was the coach? Hires and so David Bloth, and Durante Jones, Drew Petzing, and then they hired Mike Kafka. So it'll be a whole new offensive brain trust there for the Lions. Chris Horton, special teams coordinator, Denard Wilson, Jonathan Gannon hired as a Green Bay Packers DC. Mike McCarthy was hired as a Pittsburgh Steelers head coach, and a lot of Steelers fans are not pleased.
Yeah.
Jeff Halfley hired as the Dolphins head coach, on Eric's own GM. Bobby Slowick getting another OC job. Chris Tabor, the special teams coordinator. Baltimore Ravens, Jesse Minter. Christian Parker. Who the hell is he? Zach Robinson is being hired offensive coordinator for the Bucks. Eric Bieniemy returns as the OC with KC. Tommy Rees will be the OC for the Atlanta Falcons. Yeah, we got Bob Sala. So there's your coaching updates. And we'll definitely make our picks next week for the Super Bowl. All right. So Anaheim 2, Chase Sexton 1 in the 450 main over Hunter, his first win for Kawasaki, over Hunter Lawrence, Eli Tomac, Jason Anderson, Cooper Webb were your top 5. What is it? RJ Hampshire was 9th, Malcolm Stewart 12th, Dylan Ferrandis on the Ducati was 11th, Austin Faulkner was 17th there. None of the betas made the main event. Then in the 250 was Hayden Deegan over Michael Mosman, Ryder DeFrancesco, McAdoo, and Max Voland. The 450 championship points, Eli Tomac has an 8-point lead on Hunter Lawrence. Chase Sexton moves up to 3rd. Ken Roczen, Jason Anderson, or Ken Roxon's in 4th, a point behind Chase Sexton. Then there's a good battle between Jason Anderson all the way down to Jorge Prado. 5 points between those guys, Dylan Ferrandis in 10th. Then in the 250 West, Hayden Deegan, 2 firsts, makes a 9-point lead for him over Moseman. 10-point lead over Max Anstey in the 250 West. They'll be running the East here for the first week this coming weekend at Houston. Then for World Rally Championship was Oliver Solberg winning the Rally Monte Carlo, youngest winner ever, 24 years old, beating Sebastian Ogier in that. And then the Toyota 123, and as I mentioned, in terms of weather, fog, snow, black ice, heavy rain, attacking the ice is an advantage. I'm just scroll through trying to get the results here. So there you go. So final result of Rally Monte Carlo was Oliver Solberg by 51.8 seconds over his teammate Alfred Evans, and his teammate and defending world champion Sebastian Ogier has won Monte Carlo I don't know how many times by a minute 10 in 3rd. So there was the top 3. Then Adrian Formeau finished 4th. Thierry Neuville finished 5th. WRC2 car finished 6th. Overall, Leo Rossell, Takamoto Katsuda was 7th. Then 3 more WRC2 cars rounded out the top 10. Hayden Panton was 11th. American co-driver finished in 12th. And then where are we at? The Fords had some issues. They were doing all right earlier in the rally, and then they had some wrecks and stuff going on there. So then next rally will be Sweden in same weekend as Daytona there. So then they'll have a month off before they go to the Safari rally. And then we'll do Formula E, Miami Prix, Miami International Autodrome. There will be a rookie free practice as well. we'll see how that all goes. In terms of the points, Nick Cassidy coming off of his win in Mexico leads the points by 4 over Jake Dennis, who won at Brazil. Oliver Rowland, the defending world champion, finishes of second and third. He's only 6 points back. Former champion, so the 3 former champions there, Pascal Wehrlein, there's in fourth. Eduardo Mortara, rounding out your top 5 as we go in. And then teams, Citroen Racing leading by 8 points over Andretti, TWG, then Nissan, then the Porsche and Mahindra teams, and then Mahindra and Penske tied actually there. Then manufacturers, Stellantis leading by 8 points or 7 points over Porsche in the manufacturer standings. Alrighty, so Cookout Clash, as I mentioned earlier, there's no information or entry list or whatever. I guess you have to go back and look at Racing Reference in recent years of the Clash, whether it's in terms of the because they're not going to show in the random. I won't show that. Oh well. I was trying to figure out where to find non-points races, whatever recent non-point races or whatever. But yeah, I mean, let's see. The Clash. Okay, so 20. Chase Elliott won last year. Denny Hamlin had one at the Coliseum. Martin Truex, and then Joey Logano. So Truex isn't around. Daytona, that was on the road course. Then they had Denny Hamlin. Eric Jones won it years ago at Daytona. Oh, that's interesting. So Clyde was the winner last year. Hamlin always seems to do well in this race. Logano, big money races. Let's see. In terms of, didn't want to do that. All right. I will. Let's see. I'll go first here. NASCAR Cup Series Cook Out Clash at Bowman Gray. Phil is gonna go with Ryan Blaney and the squirrel that he's growing above his lip. That thing looks like a character from Super Troopers, and jokes about giving mustache rides now that his wife is a MILF and all that other stuff. But I say Blaney. In terms of a wild card to win, and wild card will be, I'll say Keebler Gibbs. Yes. He had good vibes from the Chili Bowl. Maybe he can carry that over into the Cup car here this weekend. How about you, Josh?
You know what? I'm gonna go with Christopher Bell to win the Clash.
Okay.
Yeah, as a wild card pick. You know what? I'm gonna go a little unconventional and go SVG here for a wild card.
It's funny. I was literally thinking about like a road course person, and I was like, okay, maybe AJ Allmendinger, SVG. It would have really been out. I think I could have went really crazy and been like, oh yeah, Connor Zilic, because he just is able to drive anywhere. But I honestly don't know how many laps on like a short oval he's ever really done in that car. So we'll see what happens. We'll let you know on We'll update it, of course, on episode 301 of the Rip Strip podcast, along with previewing the Super Bowl and the like. So, Josh, you let us know what's going on in iRacing and gaming in the sim segment.
Yeah, of course. First of all, start off, obviously, new vehicle and everything, and bought a manual transmission car and all that stuff. But, obviously, iRacing, I guess, in a way, iRacing, NASCAR 2003, driving the H pattern shifter there kind of at least spurned this idea, to get a manual car and all that. So, definitely was the inspiration there and everything, and all that. So, had the idea and that mindset for a while now. So, that's, gonna be an interesting thing here over the next, however many years I have this car. But, as far as, iRacing itself actually goes, I guess, now we've had the iRacing 24 hours last week, which I was in LMP2. I actually didn't really do any iRacing this past week, kind of as a detox from iRacing and all that stuff. But I think, yeah, this week on iRacing, probably hop on for some sessions. Trying to look at the news here just to see what they have. I guess the past week, yeah, the Winter iRacing NASCAR Series took place this past week at Bristol. Special daily, yeah, the FIA Cross Car Championship at Winton Motor Speedway on the Rally Cross track. GT3, now that it's past Daytona, GT3 America's tour at Summit Point Raceway. Their Draft Masters 87s at Talladega. That's interesting. Rainmaster Challenge at Imola Grand Prix circuit there. Got that. Let's see what else is on schedule this week. Gen 4 Cup at Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez on the Oval. Interesting choice there. NASCAR A-Class Series at Kentucky. Indy NXT at Lucas Oil Raceway Park. Indianapolis, of course, or IRP. NASCAR Trucks at Rockingham this week. IndyCar at Talladega this week. And I guess now that the week has finished up now, the Winter iRacing Heat Series at Talladega here, and then the IndyCar Fixed Formula Car Series at Watkins Glen, the actual NASCAR 87 car series at Watkins Glen here. And then, yeah, iRacing NASCAR Xfinity. I guess they haven't updated it yet because it still has the Xfinity logo here on iRacing. I have to update it to the ORAP series here on O'Reilly Auto Part Racing series. So, yeah, the Xfinity car there. So, that's on the oval side. The sports car road side, IMSA Michelin Pilot Challenge at Monza, their combined circuit. GT3, okay, I guess I was wrong. GT3 Regional Americas Tour at Barber Motorsports Park. Got the Advanced Mazda MX-5s at Miami International Autodrome there. Let's see, the Production Car Challenge at Sonoma Raceway. GR86 at Summit Point Raceway there. The iRacing IMSA series at Watkins Glen on the boot for fixed and open setup. LMP2's series at Watkins Glen on the boot as well, in the fixed prototype challenge at the Watkins Glen. I wonder why they're doing at Watkins Glen, but it's whatever there. And then the iRacing Formula car, just to go on that really quick. The Long Beach Lotus 49 at the Long Beach Street Circuit. Indy NXT at Autodromo Jose Carlos Pace, aka Brazil. Formula 1600 rookies at Summit Point Raceway. And of course, like I said earlier, IndyCar fixed and open at Watkins Glen International so on the boot circuit there. So, and Formula IR on the Charlotte Oval. So, yeah, I mean, that's all on iRacing this week. Of course, covered all the major classes there. So, yeah, I mean, get back into it here after a week away from iRacing, detoxing from the 24. So, probably do some oval stuff this week here. But yeah, as always, iRacing, of course, great platform to do competitive sim racing on. So, yeah, I mean, as for me, as always, you can catch my streams at Twitch at uSailor2. You can go on there and look at me on as I do my sim racing stuff, and of course, should still have the 24 hours stream up there, so you can see if you didn't catch it, you can go in there and watch the replay of how that transpired. So, we'll see how that goes. What's the next special event for me to participate in? We'll see. Maybe I'll do the 12 hours of Sebring and compete with that. We'll see. I don't know how much time I'll have for that, and I don't actually know what day that is yet on the calendar. I'll have to look at that. But yeah, as always, you can follow me at Twitter on JP Huffline on Twitter, and then our Gripster Podcast YouTube page at Gripster Podcast, and then photography at Josh Huffline Photography on there. I still have to post my roar before the 24 photos and everything, so yeah, they'll post that soon, hopefully. So still got to do that, but yeah, glad obviously get a new vehicle here, and glad to get that sorted up and everything. And of course, racing season right here, right around the corner. Just as soon as Super Bowl ends, basically, and a little preview here this weekend with some good old short track racing here on NASCAR here this weekend at the Clash. And I mean, I don't know, we'll see how this happens, because I mean, it's about to be, looks like we're going to have another winter storm potentially here this weekend that may affect things here. And I mean, I know Florida, who turned off the sun, because Sunday the low is going to be like 9 degrees with not a real temperature, but the feels like temperature will be 9 degrees, a low of 27 here. So yeah, somebody turned off the sun here, so turn it back on, make it warm again. It's not supposed to be like that down here, but yeah, anyways, excited for all the racing here that's about to happen.
Yeah, well, 27 with a low of 9. I think it's 8 right now. It's 18. The feels like 4.
Yeah.
And that's what it's going to be basically for the rest of the week. And then, well, at least now the precipitation has dropped down chances. But temperatures are still low. But either way, we'll see what happens with that. Of course, they're having the Pro Bowl over there in Orlando, so it'll be chilly then if that's the case. And then they did brine Bowman Gray last week, I think, randomly. So that could be interesting how that works with them Badger tires. But you can find us, Josh, of course, mentioned the Gripster Podcast YouTube page, the GSP 1428 YouTube with the audio feed. You can find the Gripster Podcast at philipgmatthew.com and podbean.com. You can find me at pgmatthew28 on Twitter, pgmgsp28 on Instagram, Blue Sky. And that's all here. Turning 41. It's crazy. After all I've done to my liver and other parts of my body. In fact, I'm still here. God bless. So with that, thankful to you, Josh, as always, being a good brother, a good friend, and glad you have a new chariot now that you can rely on. Don't go hooning too much in it, obviously. It's a new car, so just watch with that. Unless Cletus McFarland decides he catches you in something, and then you kind of have to do it then, because it's Cletus McFarland. He'll probably rip your sleeves off too if you do that too. Just don't let Squirrel do it. But either way, For Josh, I'm Phil. Thanks everyone for listening, subscribing. Give us a like, subscribe on those channels, on our socials for the show itself, and we will see you next time for episode 301 of the Griff Strip Podcast.